Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with a little bit more Power Rangers movie reboot news. We recently, of course, got the news that Jonathan Entwistle is going to be overseeing the new Hasbro rebooted Power Rangers universe with the TV shows and the movies and whatnot. But just the other day we got news of who is going to be the writer for the movie specifically. Like, as far as we know, this is only the movie and not the show or anything. His name is Brian Edward Hill. And I have no idea who that was until this article. Same thing with Jonathan Entwistle, to be honest. I mean, when the news came out that he was going to be doing the movie before this stuff, that's when I first found out about him. But both of them were not names that I instantly knew, which doesn't mean anything. And he has a bunch of interesting credentials. He's worked with some comic studios, like Marvel and DC, and even also Boom. But probably the most notable thing that people might be the most familiar with is he's a co-producer on DC's Titans, you know, the Teen Titans TV show, the live-action one that was a DC Universe original and is now going to be HBO Max original. I feel like that's something that's going to make the fandom squirm. It's one of those information... oh, Lily, TMI, too many informations. It's one of those pieces of information that I feel is right for the people that like to push the panic button and be like, oh, they're gonna make it too dark and mature and they're gonna be like F Zordon. But for real, F Zordon, that dude's the worst. I don't think this means they're gonna be making it a gritty Titans Season 1 blood and cussing type of thing, especially for the movie. I know there's gonna be fans out there that are instantly gonna think that's what this means, but I personally don't think so. I mean, I don't know for sure what they're planning, but for trying to make a mass-marketed movie that they're probably going to want to get the most eyeballs on possible, they're not going to make an R-rated Power Rangers movie in that style. I mean, certainly think it might have more of an edge to it. Probably characters whose biggest sins aren't eating dessert before dinner like we have now. So I think that that's kind of good news. I like what I see from this guy. I also don't necessarily think what people are working on now are necessarily an indicator of what they'll be working on later. You know, there's been many actors and directors that have worked on something like they're known for comedic stuff or horror stuff, and then they end up doing something completely opposite and doing like amazing at it. So you can never really know. I always kind of say that too when we get news about toku writers. Everyone always likes to be like, oh my god, so-and-so worked on this, it's going to be just as bad. So I wouldn't use the Titans thing as any sort of indicator that it might be like Titans to a certain degree if you don't like that. I mean, I do personally like the Titans show, but I don't think it needs to go in that dark of a direction. But I definitely want to see the movie be a little bit more mature. And again, I've said before, by mature I don't mean dark, I just mean not, you know, PBS Barney or something like what we have now. Like, literally any writers are better than what we have now. Literally anything sounds better than what we have now. So I think this is good news, but it's too soon to really judge. Something I do think is good news, though, is I like that we're getting a lot of news trickling out about the movie and whatnot. Not just because it's kind of exciting to know a little bit more of what's going on, get some more stuff to speculate on, but it shows that they're still actively working on it. I know there was some people concerned about, you know, how the movie production and all that was going, given the world situation, and I'm sure certain timelines have been delayed. Thanks, Barry. Certain timelines have been delayed and pushed just like everything else, but it shows they're still working on it in the background. And as I also said in a previous video, they were in at least a better place because it's not like they're actively filming and had to be shut down. They haven't even cast yet, so they can kind of really fine-tune all of the background work, which I think is good. But what do you guys think? Have you heard of this guy before? Are you excited based on his previous work? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.